Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker, your host of That Girl the Podcast. I'm an author, performer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, human relationship specialist, and founder of the wellness website loveyouevenmore.com. Each week, I bring on inspiring people and experts in their field to have powerful, motivational, and enlightened conversations about relationships, self-development, and how you can live your most authentic life. Follow us for daily updates on myself and the podcast at That Girl the Podcast and at Jackie Brubaker on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and our Patreon page. While you're at it, make sure to check out my new wellness website, loveyouevenmore.com. If you're wanting to dig into developing more self-worth, be healthier about relationships, and learn how to date smarter, go to loveyouevenmore.com and follow us on Instagram at loveyouevenmore. Welcome, Lena Ehrenberg, to That Girl, the podcast. I'm excited to have you because we are going to talk about a perfect topic for the beginning of the year, which is gratitude. Lena is a mentor to people on all kinds of relationships, and we're just going to talk about what it is to be grateful in our own lives and for what we have. But let me just hand it off to you real quick and just give a little brief introduction of sort of like who you are and how you help people.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Jackie. I love this. Who I am is, I always start out with, I'm from New York.
Yes.
Thank
you are.
Yes, I am. And it's so funny that I always say that when people say, well, who are you, or where are you from, or where do you live? So I have not lived in New York for a very long time. And yet I'm a New Yorker.
That's right.
That's something that has never left me. Thank you. I'm glad you think it's fair. I'm all about fair. That 3-year-old in me loves to be fair. So I have discovered the power of gratitude and how it enriched my own life and how it enriched and healed so many relationships in my life, not only romantic relationships, but relationships that I've had in all areas. And so that's what I really love to work with people on. And a lot of my clients are women who want to have romantic partnerships. And a lot of my clients in the past, I have coached people on weight loss and weight maintenance. And that's all about a relationship that we have with ourselves, right? Which is really the root of it all, actually, because what I've come to understand is the only relationship that we are going to be in till death do we part is the one we have with ourselves.
That's right. That's so true. I think about that all the time. I mean, we come in alone, we go out alone, unless you're like a twin or a triplet. Technically, you're coming in with more people, but no, it's just you in this body living your life fully.
And even when you're in a relationship, let's talk about a romantic relationship or a partnership. I have a very dear friend who's been married for a very long time and who shared with me that in the middle of the night, when he's awake thinking about something that's working on him, it's still just him.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten that. And I think that it's something really important for us all to think about. I don't mean to be focusing on those troublesome times that we all go through, but focusing on the fact that no matter what kind of relationship you're in, no matter how loving and good and delicious and rich that it is, you're still your own being. You're still your own person. You do not become melded with another person. You know what I mean? And so we always, even when we're having amazing relationships with other people, we're always in relationship with ourselves and to ourselves.
Yes. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about that first, because I think that this will all just very naturally unfold into gratitude. You had mentioned this right before we started, that it is truly about self-worth, and you saw that I have a course on self-worth. And I firmly believe that that is the foundation of everyone's self-esteem and how they're going to relate to others and what they're going to get back from others.
Exactly.
So when you are lacking in self-worth, when you don't have really good ideas of what you need, what you want, how to get what you want, because you're still confused by other people's expectations and their wants and needs put on you, and you should be a certain way or grow up to, like, parents are a really good example of, like, you need to grow up to be this sort of way. And as children, we listen and we're like, well, I guess so. And then that doesn't quite always work out the same way that they had hoped or you had hoped. And then you feel worthless. So when we start to build ourselves up as adults and figure out what is my worth, what is it that makes me actually happy and healthy and whole, then we're able to really have the type of a relationship with someone who is absolutely aligned with us.
Exactly. And it's not just about that one person, though. That's the thing. So I went through a course of coaching for myself a long time before I ever even considered mentoring or coaching other people. I just really went through a period of time where I finally allowed myself to see that I wasn't living a life that I wanted to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it had been going on for a very long time, but I hadn't let myself see it, right? So that's why I very specifically phrase it that way, because I think many, if not all of us, have those moments to ourselves. We have those little, but we don't always let ourselves see that and take that into consideration and start to really look at that and examine that for ourselves. And so I went through a period of time when I finally had done that. And I went into a year-long coaching program, which was a huge investment for me. And I don't only mean financially, but in my worth, in my value, because isn't that also when we don't feel worthy, we don't invest in other ways. We don't invest money in ourselves. We don't invest time in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did this, and it just opened my eyes to understanding that it really was all tied together for me. And I worked up what I realized were for me the qualities that I have, the values that I have, the way that I want to live my life, the kind of person that I want to be, all of those things that you were talking about. And I then took that exercise to, okay, now who do I want to be with?
Mm-hmm.
And who is going to be the best, I was going to say accompaniment, but complement. Yeah. What kind of person is going to be the best complement to me and for me? And then years later, when I did decide to pursue this as paying it forward and taking all that I had learned in coaching programs and books and courses and seminars and workshops and all the time and investment that I had put into it, plus all that I had evolved for myself and how that best all fit together. Mm-hmm. It occurred to me that, well, the same kind of people who I want to be in my romantic life are the same kind of people I want to have in my friendships, mm-hmm. are the same kind of people I want to work with, not only as business partners, but as clients as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's when I really started to have a much more global, I'll call it, idea of this richness can enrich our entire lives.
Mm-hmm. And that does lead into gratitude, because when you finally feel that richness and feel that you have the relationships that make you happy and whole, and it's a give and take and it's equality, right? We're just like really with our equals, with our tribe. You feel so like your self-worth tank and your love tank is so full. You can see the gratitude. You can have the gratitude, and you see it in the smallest ways everywhere. It doesn't always have to be, because I think a lot of people, they start to remember how grateful they are when bad stuff happens. And they're like, oh my God, I took so much for granted now that it's gone. But it can be the flip side too. You can walk through the fire. You can do all the hard work. You can get to a place where you're like, my friendships, my colleagues, my clients, my romantic relationships are all the same, just like you described. And that's also true for me. Like mine was the opposite. Mine was, I love my friends so much. I want my partner to be like my friend. Like exactly. I really want him to be my best friend, who I would be friends with regardless if we were dating or not. Right. And now that's happened. And it's like, I knew it. I knew this could work.
Exactly. And I measure my progress in life by my friends.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about that a little bit, because friendships are tricky. You know, friendships come and go. There are seasons and reasons and all of that. Let's talk a little bit about like your journey with that and how we can connect it to gratitude.
Okay. Well, I will say that I have always had really good, real friendships with women. I just never had as many as I have now.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so that's what, I was someone who had good friends but maybe one friend at a time, and the rest of the people around I might have considered acquaintances. But I'm going all the way back to like school days, right? In that way. Yeah. And I tended to have a small social circle, I'll call it that way. And so, but my friendships I felt were like real, because I'm real.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not, okay, I'm going to say this out loud. I'm not easily impressed.
Nice. I like it.
So not only am I not easily impressed, but I'm also not impressed with a lot of the things that a lot of people consider impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not.
You want the real.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Give me an experience over a thing any day.
Same.
So for that reason, I've never been I used to say I'm not a camper. I just was not into doing all the group stuff and all of that stuff. And so, but as I've grown, and by grown, I mean evolved, and understood the power of gratitude in my life, and understood that it is the root of so much other goodness. I look around my world now, and I have so many real, wonderful, solid friendships with women. And honestly, it boggles me to think that not only to think that other women don't, but it really boggles me and hurts my heart to know that there is this story in the world that women can't.
Yes, this is a very good point. I mean, we have been pinned against each other by each other, and also by men, unfortunately, with media, with expectations, with just competitiveness. I so agree. I think our greatest strength is together as a womanhood. And I completely understand where you're coming from. I have very strong girlfriend relationships, but more so in the last probably 8 years than ever before. And that it to me, I'm like, this is our tribe. We are women together. We only understand each other, like, I'm sorry, man, I love you guys, but like, you're not us. You'll never understand this sort of relationship. It's just different.
And we'll never understand theirs the
That's
way
right.
they do, right? And
Right.
so that's great.
It's fun.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
You said something again, and I kind of want to go back to that for a second because it's so important that you talked about our tribe and being members and being members of our tribe. But that goes back to self-worth too, because each of us has to feel worthy to be a full-fledged member, right? Just because we're with a group of women, if I'm feeling less than, and it doesn't feel like a tribe in a good way to me, it feels like a tribe that I'm just not really a part of.
Right. And that's a really, really good point. And that's, I think, going back to like your self-worth of who do I resonate with? If you are in a group of girls who are just petty, catty, status oriented, and you're not like that, you're never going to fit in with them. And I don't care if you're women or not, it's just never going to happen.
Exactly.
And that is where it is, that it's more of like an energy. So I'm not saying like, oh, we should all be friends with women if we're women, because clearly I have male friends that I'm quite close with, but it's an energy that is beautiful when you find the right women who do click with you, who are that like sisterhood.
Right.
And
to your point also, if you are with a group of women who are like that, why? Are you with them because you're like that too? And you don't even notice that about them? It just feels comfortable. It feels real to you. And you're not even questioning it? Or are you with a group of women like that and it doesn't feel good to you? It doesn't resonate for you. You do feel like there's something off here. And maybe it's because you're not like that. And yet you think that that's how women are.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you're a woman and you're not like that, then that's not how women are.
Right.
I mean, we can start with ourselves, right? We have to start dismantling that old story, one of us at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do choose people who challenge us, and obviously romantic partners, friendships, we're choosing people that we can work trauma out with. If we're connecting with someone who isn't like us, we're feeling familiarized to that somehow.
Right. Well, that's the thing. We do things because they feel familiar. And so not all of us are choosing partners in order to work things out. Some of us are choosing partners just to feel comfortable.
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, that's a whole other podcast. My God. But that is true. And so, like, I want to keep trying to tie it back to gratitude because this is such an incredible talk on like self-worth and all of it. But like, just to keep it like here, when you do recognize, okay, these girls I'm friends with are not my tribe, like, and the more work you do on yourself, the more distant you're going to feel from them. And then that's up to you to be like, I have to say goodbye. I just don't work in this. If you feel uncomfortable, they feel uncomfortable with you too. It goes both ways. No one's like, oh no, she's great. No, they're uncomfortable. They don't want you there either. I have felt that before in girl groups where I felt so on the outside and it felt like they were almost pushing me out as well, right? It's a very common feeling. It's, friendships are complicated and strange. But, when you do get out, it might be a little, lonely for a second or so, but at least you can feel the gratitude of, I did what was right for me. Yeah. I can see that there are people like me out there. I'm going to, manifest them, and I'm going to be more open. I'm going to find people more like me so that I can feel comfortable in my own skin with other like-minded people.
Exactly. And you can, if you're practicing active gratitude, you can start even before you get out of that group, because wherever you are, you have something to feel grateful for, wherever you are.
Including saying, I am so grateful that now I realize I'm not supposed to be in this friend group.
Exactly. I am so grateful that I can see my own evolution and see what that does also. And I love that. Thank you for wording it that way, because what that does is it focuses the positivity of gratitude on what is real, rather than saying, oh, them, got to get away from them. There's something wrong with them, right? Well, that's not what we're saying. There's nothing wrong with a group of people that you're not a good fit with.
Yeah.
You're just not a good fit with them.
Right.
Right.
I literally just had this conversation this morning about talking about an ex partner of mine. And I'm like, as easy as it is to be like, oh, he was just awful, he was terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's been quite a bit of time since that relationship. And it was a complicated relationship. I learned a lot. But when I look at, some of the things he said or did, were they, not everything, but like some major key points, I'm like, were they the worst things he could have said to me? No. Was the timing wrong? Yes. Was the environment wrong? Yes. Were we just not aligned? Absolutely. So it's not like he was the worst person on earth. It was that we just really weren't aligned at all. And it was constant friction. And I think people feel that way a lot in relationships. Like, well, I'm doing everything I can and I'm reading all of the books and I feel like I'm giving so much and like nothing seems to work. It's just he won't change or she won't change or, they're stubborn or whatever. And maybe they are. I mean, listen, like that's true too. But to be grateful for an ex at a distance and to even see more of it just as it keeps unfolding and showing itself to me, I'm grateful for, because it makes my relationship now even stronger. It's like, thank you so much for that hardship. I'm so much better because of it.
Right. Because you were looking at the relationship and not just blaming him. And so you know that now. That was your education. When that comes across your path again, if it ever does, you'll know it and you won't get involved with that, right? My dad said something so wonderful to me once, among the many wonderful things that he said. We were talking about, it was business related, and I had done something that just did not work for me. And then I realized that a few years before I had done something very similar and it didn't work for me at all the first time. And so I don't know, maybe the second time I thought, well, maybe this is a different thing. This is a different thing now. So maybe this will work, right? We're always looking at the outside of it's the thing. It's not me interacting with the experience. And so it didn't work the second time either. And I was talking to him one day about it. And he said, and I was talking about, oh, I invested all this money and, just whatever. And he said, well, however much you invested, it was still less than 4 years of college, right? And I said, yeah, much less. He said, okay, well, consider that your education. And this is the best part, though, he said, and now you've done it twice. Now you see it. You've gotten your education. The next time you see it, you'll say to yourself, not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can apply that to everything. And the reason that we don't learn these lessons as quickly as just one and done or first and last.
Right.
It's because we're too focused on thinking that the other person is wrong and that the other person should change. And we're not looking at our own part in it.
It is. I mean, everyone feels right about everything usually. We all think, no, you got it wrong. I know what's really going on here. And sometimes you do. Definitely. And I want you all to hear that because you need to trust yourselves. And that's a big part of being an evolved person. But sometimes you can still be right, but also there's a different perspective that you can't see yet. Like to me, it always feels like when something is off, it's like someone's speaking a different language that I literally can't understand. I'm like, I don't know what that language is. Like you could keep talking to me, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And if you're trying to come from your perspective of understanding something that you have no reference to, and that could just be simple, the way people respond in relationships. Like maybe you've never been in a relationship with someone who responds the way that they do. And you're just like, wait, what? I have no reference to how to like understand this or you. And so naturally our egos are like, well, you just must be wrong. That's not how it works. Everybody else does it this way, not that way.
Right. And it's kind of like going back to the conversation we were having earlier about groups of women and what people's perceptions are of how women are. And some people have a perception that relationships are hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so some women and men, some people get into a relationship and it's hard.
Yeah.
And because they have this belief that, well, relationships are hard, they stay in it.
Yeah.
Without trying to figure out what is hard here and is it something that can be healed in this relationship and kept together, or is it a fundamental difference and we're not meant to be together?
Right. Gosh, I'm so glad you said that because I'm in the same camp. I do not believe relationships needs to be hard. I think the more evolved you are, the more you know yourself, the more work you do on yourself, you can meet someone who's at the same level and it will be easy.
Exactly.
It's not to say life won't come in and throw you curveballs, but it is so much easier when you're with someone who is like you, who is like as evolved as you.
Right.
You don't have to be the same freaking person, but you need to at least be evolutionally like the same person.
Well, exactly. And you have to, like I said, I mean, there are some, if you've got really strong core beliefs, you don't have to, or your values, you don't have to be with someone who has the same exact values as you. And I almost said, but it's and it's not going to work though, if you're with someone whose values are opposed.
Yeah.
Your values, because you've got two people who are literally working at cross purposes.
Yeah.
For the relationship.
And again, that doesn't mean that either one of you is right or wrong. It's
exactly
just different and that's fine. Right. But like noticing that and then being like, okay, I'm grateful I noticed this. What's the big choice I have to make?
That's the key. That's the key. And that's the thing that so many people are not willing to do. They're not willing to make that choice because that choice might lead them to have to take an action.
Yes. God forbid anybody take action.
Right.
Just so hard, you guys. No, you should be taking action. This is your life. And like that wraps right back to self-worth. When your self-worth is strong and you are very in touch with who you are in this very moment, and it's a constant, it's a journey, you guys. This isn't like my self-worth is perfect. It will stay like this forever. Because again, we have curveballs and things get a little messy. But like when it is strong, you won't put up with stuff that you don't want to put up with, or you will see the lens of, no, we are coming from two different places. He's not right. I'm not wrong. Like all of the things, like it is just fundamentally different, like you said. And then you have to be willing to let go and to have the faith that, if it's a romantic relationship, that you will find another one and a better one. It should be a better one. Otherwise, we're just going linear, right? We're just like, okay, I'll find the same person and try it again. Like, no, just stay with the same person and keep trying. If you really want to, if you're not going to change, if you're not going to do some work, you guys, like, just stay in your relationship. It's fine.
Right. But understand also what is better me.
Mm-hmm.
Because different people have a different idea of what is good and what is better.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
just, yeah.
And that's everyone's journey too. That's, I think a lot of people, whether it's relationships or just life, are like, well, I think, I would just be happy if I could just get by, like that would make me happy. And just have like, I don't need a big fancy life, just something basic. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that because everybody's coming from their own journey and perspective. But if you do want a little tiny bit more than maybe what you're saying you're okay with, then think about that. Start to really investigate, well, if I could really dream big, what would I really want? And see kind of what comes up.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and all of this is just being grateful for the hard stuff and the learning and the freedom and the bravery we take to create that freedom and to create the life that we really want. And again, having it be January, we are all in that mode of like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to, just be the best version of myself. And I think it's like, it can be a slow process, but I think it can also be a steady process instead of slow. Maybe just see it as a steady process of making, real decisions that will impact your life and start the course a little bit more where you want it to be.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot in that. I love what you said earlier because all of the words that you were using were really qualities. They weren't things so much, right? And to really let's talk specifically about gratitude for a second. I think that when people think about being grateful or making a gratitude list, that we're talking about things. What do I have?
Yeah.
Right. And all of the what you talked about were qualities. How are you? How am I being? What is the quality of my life right now? And I mean, I've lived in the same place for a very long time and I love it. People who don't know me and hear me talk about my home probably think I live in a mansion. And I don't, but it's a mansion in my heart for me. It's perfect for me and I love it. And yet I look back on myself in all of the time that I've lived here when to outward appearances, I look like I'm living the same life to other people. Like if they look at the things, if they look at the place that I'm living, or if they look at the clothes that I'm wearing, my style hasn't changed that much, or whatever those things are that people see when they first encounter you.
Yeah.
But I know how much the quality of my life has changed and how much I've evolved. And it's all about qualities. It's about how much love do I have in my life right now. And that has so much to do with gratitude. And how much peace do I have right now? And how much am I learning and growing? How much am I willing to self-examine and get into those dusty corners that are really scary? Like, you turn on the lights and you're not sure what's going to be back there. Those kinds of things. How much am I willing to go do that and have the sense, how much joy do I have that there were other times in my life that I didn't have that? And so that's really what is the most important thing to me about expressing gratitude and feeling gratitude, because that in and of itself is a quality that that we experience in our lives. And so it's also tied together, but sometimes I think that there are a lot of people who think about the things, and then they can get very caught up in that. And it can lead you to feel less than or focus on what you don't have. And then you're in that spiral. And that again goes back to what we were saying about self-worth. When we're only focused on what we don't have, how worthy do I feel of having, of deserving?
Yep. Oh, it's so true. It's so true. You're right. I'm very much more a quality person than I don't want to say quantity, but qualities versus stuff and things and status. And that's always been kind of a big turnoff to me. Not that it's not nice to have nice things, but that's not lasting to me. It's just like great, okay, that's nice. But yeah, the love you have in your life, the friendships, it's funny. I've actually lived in my house for 15 years and I've so thought that before, oh, to the naked eye, it doesn't look like much has changed. But yes, so much changed. So much has changed. So I very much relate on that level. But it is true. I mean, I think we're here as souls to evolve in general. And our surroundings are what we make of them, whether we want to keep it here or we want to make it something else or go up, go down, whatever. It's all an experience to evolve. So it's not that the stuff makes you a better person or a more, evolved person. It has nothing to do with that. It's just an experience you're having and
But
how you go
but
on.
a lot of people think that having the thing is what will make them what? Happy.
Happy, right? No, it doesn't, you guys. It's fleeting.
Yeah. What occurred to me thinking about happiness? Somebody was talking about the pursuit of happiness. And so how is it phrased? It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And people focus on the happiness. I'm supposed to be happy. It even says it on the piece of paper. And I thought, well, let's think about it for a second. Those were pretty smart guys. And they didn't just dash down the first words that came to them and say, okay, well, this will do, right? They gave such great thought to things. And so I thought, well, they didn't say life, liberty, and happiness. They're not guaranteeing happiness.
Yeah.
They, I thought, were really leading us to understand that it's in the pursuit of something that we can find our joy.
Yeah.
It's in the looking forward and taking the actions. And that's the living part. That's the enriching part. It's in the experiencing of it. It's not in the having the end result.
And that honestly, in my world, makes me feel so grateful. Because when you're really looking at your life and you're like, wow, my life is happening to me every day, every freaking minute, it's happening. I'm so grateful. And I always like to think about just the small stuff, to be honest, the stuff that people do take advantage of or for granted. Today, I'm in Los Angeles. It's a stunning, gorgeous, crisp fall day. It's beautiful outside. It's a really beautiful day. And okay, I'll take it, I'll take it. It's just the little stuff.
Yeah. And also there's so much about that it's not little. It's magnificent.
Yeah.
It's really magnificent. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles as well, and it's a big part of why people are here. It is so stunning. There's always something beautiful that we can see. There's always some beauty that we can find. And I'm not just saying we like in Los Angeles. I really firmly believe that wherever you are. And if you look right around yourself and there isn't anything that you find beautiful, you get to pursue it.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the part that you can control. We can't really control the having of something. And so maybe that's a lot of times why people perhaps don't feel happy, because they feel like, well, if I don't have the thing and, but what we can control, which is part of the brilliance of it, is we can control the pursuit.
Yeah.
And if there's something that I like the day I woke up and realized I was not living my life the way that was true to me. And I said, okay, well, now I have to figure out how to do that. And that is available to everyone. Even someone who is seemingly maybe physically, literally constrained in some way, because we always have our thoughts. Nobody can control what we think.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, people can tell us and, right. And unfortunately, a lot of people do try to control people's thoughts, but ultimately there's nobody inside your head seeing what you're actually thinking.
Right. It's so true. I have loved this conversation. There were so many good nuggets in here. And I think it's just going to be, for those of you who are listening, I hope that you're getting all of this in and just, it's giving you a lot of food for thought to just chew on today. It's just good. It's just good to be grateful. It's good to have that, build that self-worth and just make the choices that are right for you. I mean, we have this life. Let's live it to our best. Like I like to say, I'm going to live the rest of my life as the best of my life. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but it is what I live my life by now. So
not cheesy at all. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good quote. You can have it and take it.
Okay. I will borrow it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, tell people how they can find you.
Well, I am at lenaehrenberg.com. That's my website. And I trust that you'll be
They will be all in the show notes.
Spelling it. So I've been spelling my name my whole life. And then also on social media, I am at Have More Love. And again, that means you can have more love everywhere in your life. It's not about waiting for someone in order to feel love. It's not about having a particular type of relationship to be in love. Love is a verb. We all get to do it. We all get to be it. So we all get to have it. And I too, Jackie, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation. It's been wonderful.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube at That Girl the Podcast.